Hey, record-loving friends, it's Brian from Tokyo Record Style. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. Happy fall. We hit the fall equinox, or spring if you're in the southern hemisphere, over the weekend. I am so happy to have you here along as part of this journey. And Tokyo Record Style is a project, a photography project, as you hopefully know. Go visit Tokyo Record Style on Instagram or tokyo.record.style. And see what I'm up to. It's a fun project where I'm documenting record collecting and music loving on the streets of Tokyo, maybe in a city near you, before too long. And I actually had a handful of things that I just wanted to kind of update the community on, and starting with last week, I got my first troll. I got a trolly comment on YouTube, which really was great. A big shout out to Dr. Von Chilla, I think it was, who made sort of a snarky remark about my profession of love for the Velvet Underground. I don't completely disagree with him, but I just thought it was really amusing that, he left to some hipster. Velvets are only beloved by hipsters, and it was just such a charming thing to get sort of trolled on YouTube. So welcome trolls, welcome anybody who has an opinion. I'm just happy that you're here to be part of Tokyo Record Style. Only 21 followers, I think, so far, and I've already got somebody making snarky comments. But welcome, everybody's welcome, seriously. So all genres of music we love, all walks of life we love, all manner of record collector are welcome here. So don't be discouraged. Congrats to Dr. Von Schill for being the first of hopefully many more to leave comments and get a discussion going. Do you think the Velvets are an overrated hipster band? Leave a comment below. Maybe I do too, but I do love them, and I'm admittedly openly hipster, so fine. The other thing I want to say is that, this is one of several projects. Tokyo Record Style is one of several projects I've run and, keep running over the years. And I'm trying to be somewhat transparent I'm trying to be really transparent about all the different challenges that I'm facing. And I'm encouraging, others who are hoping to start their own projects to learn from my mistakes or learn from my experiences. And so I'm gonna, be in full disclosure about some of the road blocks we meet along the way of this, and just kind of share with you some of the ups and downs of this journey. So I have a few things to share that are kind of along those lines. So I thought I would go ahead and talk about some of those, the troll being the first of them. And then at the end of last week, I had a really interesting meeting with some new potential collaborators. I really shouldn't say so much about it yet, but there was some interest from some interesting people in the record community, record loving, record producing, record selling community. And there might be an interesting collaboration in the not so distant future. I'm really fingers crossed that there could be something fun in the works. So I know that's a little bit just sounds a bit secretive. It kind of is, but let's see what happens. So but maybe Halloween, maybe end of this year, maybe next year could be an interesting big year for Tokyo Record Style. So on Saturday, I hosted our 14th edition of Top 5 Records. It's our tribute to the Nick Hornby novel and cult classic movie by the same name, High Fidelity, where it's the story of these sort of record store clerks, geeks, who just, go off on their musical knowledge, and they count down their top 5 records on various themes throughout the novel or the movie, where they say, what's your top 5 records for a Monday morning? What's your top 5 records for a Saturday night? What's your top 5 records for this or that? And so me and my pals, Michael Warren and DJ Bemsha, created our own series, our own version of this, where we pick themes ourselves on various topics, random topics. This last Saturday's theme was the color of music. So every participant who comes, my co-hosts Michael and Bemsha, and other hosts who we invite to come along, are invited to interpret that theme however they might like. They could pick their top 5 records about, songs with the title, with color in the title, albums with color in the title, artists who represent a particular color, colored vinyl, the color of record stores. I don't know. Really, anybody could interpret it however they wanted to. And everybody came together this Saturday, and we invited 2 guests, special guests, Asano Michael, who runs record_blog, another sort of fellow record culture celebrating blogger here in Tokyo. Asano Michael, I encourage you to follow him. I'll leave his deets in the description. And DJ Mike Wasabi, who came from Sweden, and who is half Japanese, half Swedish, and who visits often, a friend of Michael Warren's. And we had a great afternoon at Talking Gorilla in Shimokitazawa Station. We did hit an interesting roadblock I'll mention before I go off. I'll go ahead and just tell you. So there was some miscommunication, and the Talking Gorilla folks, the venue didn't have my phone number, and I had reserved the place, and they changed this company policy, and they wanted a guarantee, a fee at the beginning for the event. But that wasn't explained to me until I showed up at the event. Now, I'm not outing anybody or anything. It's a totally reasonable request to, maybe see the value of us being there, and, the fact that we are taking up seats that could be turned over. And, I don't know how the economics of the restaurant exactly work. This is a kind of a yakitori place, and, they're in business, but we were invited to come play music there anytime we wanted. And the original person who we were collaborating with has since left. And so anyway, it doesn't really matter, but we showed up and hit this impasse where we couldn't, we weren't going to be able to do the event on the day of unless we came up with a plan. Well, everybody was really gracious, and, there was no sense in shooting the messenger. And basically we just agreed that I'd humbly ask our attendees, how many of which I wasn't sure were going to come, if they could pay a small table charge, which everybody was very gracious to do. I think the 500 yen table charge was what we asked everybody to throw down, and that was reasonable. To ask them for any more I wondered if the event would have actually been worth 1,000 yen, $10, 10 J bucks. I kind of think it wouldn't have been. Maybe I don't know. So yeah, what do you think? Do you think this top 5 records event is worth $10? Leave a comment. Is it worth $5? I think $5 is the right price, or free. But the venue wants a guarantee, and if you look around at other venues, everybody's the same. So we might have just gotten lucky for 3 events in a row, and not having to pay a fee. So I'm either gonna have to come up with a new way to guarantee the venue gets their desired fee for the space, which I don't think is unreasonable, or I need to find a new space. And to be honest, I quite like the space. Shimokitazawa, Talking Gorilla and Shimokitazawa is quite cool. The staff's really nice, the food's good, the beer is flowing, and it's interesting to do an event right in the middle of a train station. That's basically what the space is. So, yeah, the jury's out on that, but it was an interesting challenge to hit and roadblock to overcome. It kind of put me in a mood where I was never completely relaxed for the whole evening. I was constantly trying to, my cafe diner days sort of resurfaced, and I was like bussing tables and consolidating people and trying to open up tables for other people to sit, to make sure that the venue was getting there, just happy, making sure that everybody was trying to be hospitable. But anyway, we did have a great top 5 event. Michael Warren presented about, he had a great, went through the colors of the rainbow. A lot of us did that. I was very delighted to have him touch on Rainbow Connection, which is, a Muppets tune. Willie Nelson, I actually have a cover of Willie doing it, but a great tune sung by the legendary Kermit the Frog. I love that the Muppets got dropped in top 5, because the Muppets are a big inspiration for so many things that I do. I mean, they are really archetypes of just characters, and I love them all. And there's kind of each one of us has a little bit of Muppet in them in a way, I feel. So, and then our fellow co-host DJ Bemsha had to take the day off. He had some family obligations to attend to, so we invited Mike Wasabi, as I mentioned, from Sweden, who told us all about dansband, which is Sweden's answer to, I couldn't really put my finger on it exactly. I mentioned polka. Sweden's answer to polka. Sweden's answer to country. I'm not exactly sure, but it's this local flavor of Swedish music, which apparently is beloved in the countryside, and it is around an interesting sort of, as what you might imagine Swedish country music to sound like. And the bands, they're bands, and they have hilarious costumes or outfits. And it's this whole subculture, and it's very interesting. And I think it's a bit of an acquired taste, and I'm willing to give it another chance. I was so sort of blown away, having never ever encountered anything like dance band. But Mike Wasabi took us through some of the legends, and assured us that it is beloved across Sweden, and that everybody knows this music. And I think I heard it described as truck stop music. So. Yeah, dansband. Dansband. Look it up. Swedish dansband. You'll find it. And then our other guest DJ was Asano Michael of record_blog on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube. And he took us also through a really interesting list of records. He was our first Japanese presenter. One noteworthy mention was, I think it was Wolfpack, who they hacked. I forgot what the correlation to the color exactly was, but maybe it was the Black album or the White. There was something black or white about it, but they hacked the Spotify algorithm by creating an album filled with no music at all. And they encouraged their audience to listen to this album while they slept, so that it would just be on for the 8 hours or whatever they would be sleeping. And they ended up generating quite a bit of income from these long hours of play with no music at all. And it had Spotify changing their payment policy to the benefit of artists. So that was a big cool acknowledgement on Asano Michael's behalf. And so those were 3 great presentations. I actually, for my top 5, I am not going to dive into it, but I correlated it to another Instagram, another sort of alter identity that I run called Zebrio. Zebrio is a moniker and handle that I've been using for decades now. And it's actually connected to the word zebra and the words rainbow. And it's this concept that's connected to photography. And I have a photo series that's all about color. And so and to music, ironically, the titles of the various images are correlated to songs about color. Like, for example, Coldplay's Yellow, Prince's Purple Rain, Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, and Flaming Lips, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, and so on. And so that was really fun. And we had a great time, and it made me really excited for looking forward to the next top 5 records. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to be, but it's a really fun format, really great way to learn about new music, a really great way to bring a community together. So I would say it was a super success. It was our 14th volume. 14 people came. That's 13 more than came to our first live volume, which was 11, which we had 1 person. So we've gone from 1 to 14, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, so the last thing I thought I would explain, there was one funny other mishap on the top 5 records. Now, I explained to our Japanese host, Asano Michael, that he would be DJing a set. Now, Top 5 Records is not just a presentation event. It's a DJ event where we all take turns spinning sets. And I thought I had explicitly explained to Michael, or to Asano, that he'd be spinning a set, but he didn't quite, I didn't quite explain it well enough. And he only brought the 5 records that he was going to speak about during his presentation. And I said to him, oh no, you got a whole hour of music to fill. And so he actually said, well, can I DJ with your records? And he, not having ever seen my records, not knowing my musical taste, he actually played an entire set of music with my records. And it was, not only did he like pull it off, it was a great set. So very big cheers to Asano Michael for pulling that off. And there were 2 records that were in there that weren't actually meant to be in the stack, but they were just in my heavy rotation because, and I thought I'd mention them because they're kind of fun, actually, and they tell you a lot about me. Now, when I was about 13, 14 years old, probably not much older than my kids, I was at a football game, like a junior varsity football game that we always used to go to. And then after the game, I went to my friend's basement, my friend's house basement, where all the kids used to hang out, the teenagers used to hang out, and a lot of first kisses and spin the bottles and listening to music. And a lot of firsts went down in that basement, kind of like that 70s show. And Katie Kriegel, the girl whose house it was, she had an older brother or parents, or I don't know who it was, but somebody was like, had cool stuff. And one of the things that they had playing on the TV was Monty Python's Meaning of Life. I watched Monty Python's Meaning of Life and Pink Floyd's The Wall back to back in like a double, what's that called at the movie theater? A movie, what's that called? A double feature. I saw just on the VHS, I saw Monty Python and The Wall, both at an age where I was just barely old enough to understand them both. There's some hilarious skits in The Meaning of Life, arguably not the best of the Monty Python movies, but one of my favorites. I mean, of course, there's Life of Brian, which, is beloved to me, and arguably their best, but The Meaning of Life has some hilarious, sacrilegious, just absolutely bonkers scenes. And I was gobsmacked that they were being so irreverent on this thing. I'd never seen them, never heard of them. And I instantly fell in love with British wit and, this dark humor and the hilarity of Monty Python. And they became, a fixture in my life, the Monty Python. And I have a handful of Monty Python records. I busted out all my comedy records recently, because comedy records, someday I'm going to do a feature about comedy records, but I've got Live at Drury Lane, which is a great one. And I've got this hilarious one, Contractual Obligations, a contractual obligation album. It says on here, it's really funny. It has a picture of all the tracks, but they're not the actual tracks on the records. They're these funny names. And the album cover looks like an album cover, but it's not actually an album cover. It says here, can somebody do a nice eye-catching cover to help us sell this? It says, signed, not really worth it. And it's got like, classics like, Sit on My Face and, Every Sperm is Beautiful and things like this. And so, yes, blew a 13, 14-year-old mind, young Brian's mind, followed by Pink Floyd's The Wall. Another one I was just barely old enough to grasp that really flew the doors of perception wide open. I was kind of mystified, horrified, imagination captured by this movie, the sounds of the album. Mother, do you think they'll like this song? That just, oh my God, there's so many amazing songs on The Wall. I mean, another just iconic album from the rock pantheon. So I just thought I'd throw those 2 out there because I think just seeing those 2 movies in a night at just such an impressionable age, I don't know, somehow representing opposite ends of the spectrum of seriousness and hilarity, really is kind of a reflection of, I don't know, some of the values I strive to keep and have. So I just thought it would be worth mentioning on a video to give you a little bit more context of who you're listening to. And with that, I will say thank you for indulging me yet again on another Top 5 Records, Tokyo Record Style video here on YouTube. And I would ask you to please like and subscribe and share. Please leave a comment about when you discovered Monty Python, Pink Floyd, Velvet Underground, you know, maybe an album that you loved that had to do with color or something that popped into your mind while you watched this. And let's get a conversation going down in the comments. And stay tuned for more from Tokyo Record Style. We've got an interesting collaboration ahead. I've got about a dozen people who are waiting to get featured on the stream. Be sure to follow on Instagram, Tokyo Record Style, or follow my website at tokyo.record.style. And I will see you out at the record store. Until next time, be good. Happy fall. See you guys.